Well, I saw.
doing you.
Yeah, I saw Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, you did see Beauty and the Beast. You want to do a review on it? Because I'm never going to see it, so you can spoil it if you want.
I was impressed.
Then
by
again,
it.
I have seen Beauty and the Beast, the cartoon, so you're not going to spoil it for me.
Well, something I need to talk about is I didn't really grow up with Disney films too much.
Yeah.
So, like, I started watching Disney properly, like, with Toy Story.
You grew up with PC Magazine.
Yeah, pretty much. Codename Eagle.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to lie. When I went into the cinema and it started the first song, I was like, oh, yeah. This is a musical. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I'll admit this.
Your brain just kind of went,
because I was actually going in thinking I was just going to see a film.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, there might be a part where it breaks out or something.
Yeah.
But then within like 5-10 minutes, it breaks into, a song. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is a bloody musical. I was like,
there's songs all over this
thing.
thing.
I was like, I'm not sure about this. But actually, great film. They did it really well. Like, the CG in it and stuff was like,
but you haven't seen the cartoon.
No,
so we can't even talk about comparing it.
Comparing,
this is a terrible review.
We need to put it side by side almost.
Yeah,
so, yeah, it is a terrible review.
Useless
because this is the first time I've seen it. She's wearing a yellow dress. Is that
hate
is that
musicals.
Correct? No, I've seen the iconic moments.
Yeah.
But,
was it good?
No, it was good. It was good. A few things to know, as in, like, I'm not like a huge fan, but it was the third. Is it the third week it's been out?
Yeah,
the theater was sold out.
Yeah.
Another thing is at the end of the film, the only films I've seen people clap are Star Wars, and I think someone clapped at Logan. Everyone clapped at the end of this film, but I guess it's more inclined because it's a musical and it feels like a performance.
Yeah.
But there's no one there, it's just a bloody screen.
What was the audience? Like, it was like lots of kids?
I would say probably 70% kids, so it wasn't crazy. And we were seeing more of a late night show.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, like, super nice. Yeah, the actors and everything. Like, I know I had the dude from Downton Abbey, but like the Beast himself, like, he was lovable. Like, I fell in love with him. So, no, it was good. Emma Watson did a good job. Overall, I actually wonder. I haven't looked it up yet. You're on your laptop. Do you know where they filmed that? But no, I was impressed. Like, someone going in and wondering, oh yeah, it's a musical within 10 minutes. Enjoyed it, and I wasn't bored any time through it. And then if you wait for the credits at the end, Deadpool 2. No, I'm joking. No, but I would go as far as saying, if you're looking to watch something and fill the Saturday or fill the weekend. Yeah,
it was filmed Shepperton Studios, Shepperton, Surrey, England, UK.
Oh, it's in Surrey as well.
Yeah, so back in the hometown.
That's where, yeah.
Well, that's where Shepperton Studios are. You should have known that.
Well, I did. It's my company.
Well, all you call it is PC Magazine.
No, but yeah, enjoyed that. The It trailer came out.
Hang on, no, I'm segueing.
Oh,
actually,
okay.
no.
All right.
No, I want to go back to where you were. But it was weird because you like Beauty and the Beast, the guy who plays Beauty and the Beast. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to talk about this week later in my proper review. Oh, yeah. Because I've fucking seen it. I don't care if you haven't seen it.
What have you seen?
It's called Legion TV show.
Oh, yeah. You were ranting on
the guy who plays that is Dan Stevens.
Oh, is it?
The guy who plays Beast. So
cool.
We both love him now.
Nice.
So, yeah. Do you want to go to trailers? Do you
sure.
want news or you want trailers? You go with whatever you want. Well, what do you want, Alex?
Whatever.
What do you need from me this week? What do you need from me?
The clown.
Trailers.
The red
clown.
balloon.
I knew you'd go to the
red balloon. So I was hearing so much about it.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, this is messed up.
Yeah.
People on my wall was just like, what have they done? Like, this is just... I watched it yesterday. Like, I watched it like 12 hours.
I watched it yesterday too.
12 hours ago.
Yeah.
Man, the beginning bit with the boat that goes down into the little sewer, and then you just see the face. Yeah. I was like, yeah, you got me. Got me.
So I have to ask the question before we go into this. Have you seen the original?
I have seen it. Yeah.
And then the second question, have you read it?
No, I haven't. No.
All right. So I'm ahead of everybody.
Is that different?
I think I'm like one of the only people who's going to be able to watch this movie. Like, I've read the book and I've seen the original thing. Because I don't think a lot of people
enjoy the original?
Here's the thing. I watched it as a kid.
Yeah.
I don't watch a lot of scary movies, or I don't get scared at a lot of scary movies.
Yeah.
Like I was watching The Exorcist when I was 8.
Yeah.
I loved Alien as a kid.
Sure.
I like horror. I love that feeling of horror, but I don't get scared at horror.
Yeah.
It scared the fucking shit out of me.
Oh, wow.
And I never finished it.
Yeah.
I was that young and messed up by it.
Yeah.
That goddamn clown in the goddamn bloody drain pipe.
It's the clowns, man.
And it was sort of, I remember it was on Sky TV, and it's a TV movie, so it was over 2 parts.
Sure.
And this was like a big thing back in the day. I remember they did it with that, and they did it with the Tommy Knockers.
Okay.
And I was like, this thing messed me up. And all I can remember, all these images of balloons full of blood dropping on people, and nobody could remember. And I was like, oh, this film is scared the crap out of me.
So messed up, yeah.
But then when I heard they were making, I'm like, because I have such like strong feeling for it.
Sure.
And I read the book again, like maybe 2 years ago.
Right.
The book is, to go off on a tangent on the book, it's not a great book.
No.
I'll say that about it.
Okay.
The thing about it that makes it great is that the great bits in it are amazing.
Right.
But it's kind of all over the place.
Okay.
Like, I don't think anybody can read that and say that it's a perfect novel. It's 1,000 pages.
Yeah.
It's huge.
I haven't heard much about it. So,
yeah. Like, it's very hard to read because it's that big. But in terms of like what he does with it, Stephen King does with it, there's some amazing things in that. And most of it is around it. Okay. And the thing that was never in the TV show that I loved, or the TV movie, whatever, was like the town that it's in, Derry, which is named after Irish Derry.
Oh, nice.
They actually have that in the book.
Nice. But
the town of Derry has had this creature in it for like millions of years as it got stronger and stronger. And the whole town is just this shithole. But it's this shithole that's like, it's one of those weird things of a reality bending where everybody in the rest of the world, nobody kind of talks about the fact that Derry's got like all these missing people. You know, people get killed all the time. There's always these very horrible accidents every few years.
Sure.
Like, you know, nightclubs burning down and dozens of people getting killed. And there's like all this backstory, and you just realize like the whole town is this filthy, horrible thing underneath it all, because it lives underneath the whole town.
Yeah.
And it's just this amazing world he creates. And then all the bits with the kids and all that's great. But there's a lot of filler. Like there's like 300 pages you could just chop out of that book.
Yeah.
But the book was great, and the TV thing scared the crap out of me.
I liked in the trailer, I was starting to get Stranger Things vibes, because it was that
the kids
in the 80s kind of thing. I was starting to get those vibes.
That's the thing I was going to ask you about. Like, what do you think the era is for this?
Well, I just said the 80s era, and I was like, I don't know if it was. I don't,
because I was watching the kids, and I was looking at that kind of like sepia tone.
I kind of got the early,
and they were on like a slider thing.
Yeah, I think
I can't even remember the name of the thing. This is how old we've got now.
I know.
The carousel.
Yeah.
It was on Mad Men,
I think actually early 90s, which is when the film came out. I think they've just gone for the same thing.
Yeah, because the book was, the way the book is set up, like you remember, they have the kids, they grow up, and then the book takes place over those 2 generations.
Right.
So it's like a 30-year gap or something.
Yeah. From
the time that they were like 15 and they fought the creature up until the time that they have to go back and kill it. So I think it takes place in the 60s and the 50s and the 80s.
Okay.
I think that's, if I remember correctly. Yeah, right. The book came out in the 80s.
Oh, is it the 80s? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, because they're in the 50s. I remember they were talking about like 1950 something or whatever. That's when they were kids, and then like 80s was when they're grown-ups. That's what I mean. Like they were kids in the 50s. Grown-ups in the 80s. So where the hell is this? Because it looks like they're kids in the 80s, which means they're grown-ups now.
It does feel like that.
Yeah.
So
because I didn't really see any grown-ups.
No,
I don't think they're gonna go down that route.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Like spoilers for anybody who doesn't know. It's not a spoiler. Like if you don't know it, this isn't going to ruin it. But the general idea was it attacks these kids, and then they kind of defeat it, but they don't actually quite kill it. And as the years go by, their memories kind of fade. Because that's the thing about Derry. The whole town's corrupted.
Sure.
And once you leave the town, you kind of forget about it.
Yeah.
So all these kids don't know what happened. And then 30 years later, they're all grown-ups. They have their own life. And they go back into the town. And all these memories come back. And they realize what this creature is. Because that's the power of it. Like, grown-ups can't see it.
Yeah.
They just get, like, affected by it.
Sure.
Kids can see it.
Right.
But what happens is whatever kids are afraid of, that's what it becomes. So for adults, they don't have the kind of fears kids have. Anyway, I'm going off topic. But the point of it is like it's two different time periods. Yeah. Split by 30 years.
Yeah.
But in this, I didn't see anything except the kids.
Yeah, that's interesting with the adults. I don't think I saw any.
No, because they have the thing of like his little brother.
Yep.
You know, he gets killed, and they have him, and they have the slideshow and all that.
That's right, and it goes off on its own.
And it goes off, but I didn't see anything of like.
No.
A grown-up version of them being like, oh, we have to go back to Derry. We have to go back and kill it. Yeah. So I wonder if they're just going to do like a Stranger Things. They're just going to do kids versus the monster.
And I think they'll just do another one where maybe the adults will come come through.
But is this R-rated?
I don't know if it is. I mean, it was pretty messed up. You should look it up.
Yeah.
I do know it's filmed in Toronto.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering because if it's not R-rated, then they'll probably just keep the kids because it's gonna be real hard to do a full movie.
Yeah.
With like real gory crap happening to a bunch of 16-year-olds.
Yeah. Well, R-rated's the trend these days. So.
Oh yeah, it is. It'll be R-rated.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So
that's what we want.
Maybe it is gonna have a bunch of kids getting mutilated on screen because I don't think there's ever been a movie like that.
No. I think that's a pretty wise decision.
Not spoilers again for it, but we're just gonna spoil it. Like none of the kids die in the book because they all grow up to fight.
Sure.
It. So
well, they weren't. Yeah,
they might change all that.
Even in the trailer, I know they don't like to give too much away, but it wasn't alluding to him like ripping people apart or anything like that. It was just him being super fucking freaky.
Yeah.
So
he definitely kills the little kid.
So no, but I'm just saying like everyone kind of thing. It's not like he's on a massacre or anything. But yeah, that one was messed up, man. Like the trailer did a good job. Like for you that's read the book and you've seen the other films, what did you think of that trailer? Did you think like this could easily get ruined or? Yeah,
but that's the thing I said, like the book's 1,000 pages long. Yeah. It's really hard to take all that and make it into a 2-hour movie.
But did they do it justice?
But I think it did like the main points of if they're just going to tell a story of kids being terrorized like Freddy.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you can do that.
I was gonna say,
I don't care. I'm like I said, the book isn't so perfect that I'm like, don't change it.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's stuff in this you can drop, and you can. I would have liked that idea of adults going back and dealing with their childhood issues, and
does that happen in the first film, or?
Yeah, in the first film, there's 2 sets of them.
Oh, I thought it happened.
And it flips back and forth.
Oh, okay.
And the interesting thing
it's been a while since it's.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Like, but again, it doesn't end very well. And it's got TV budget.
Right.
But the elements that it hits on, it does really well. I just like that thing of once you leave the town, you're kind of free of it.
Yeah, it's cool.
But once they come back, they start to remember, and all their childhood things come back and get them. They're like, oh shit!
It's like World's End.
Yeah, it is. It's exactly like World's End. They should have Simon Pegg as the clown.
yeah, that's kind of funny.
Because that's the thing. I was gonna say they did do it in the TV show, but it can be anything.
Right.
And it scares you by scaring you about whatever you're scared of.
Yeah.
And in the book, you can get away with that because, not to get away with it, but it's a lot easier to build up what people are afraid of slowly and like what's in their head and then hit them with something. They're like, oh my God, it's terrible. I think in like a movie like this with 2 hours, you're trying to get people screaming.
Yeah. They're
just going to hit on like big bursts of like, scream and like the clown running at you when he's all wet and freaky.
Sure.
But yeah, the trailer looked great. I don't think it's going to be like, if you are a big fan of the book, I don't think you're going to be like, oh, this is shit. Because it's not going to be the book.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't think the book was perfect. So if you're going to change it, change it.
Well, it looked good to me. I mean, I don't go to the theatre to see a lot of like horror films. I will go see Alien. This one, I'd have to go see it with you or someone else. But it does look intriguing. It does look intriguing for sure. Another trailer, just while we're on them.
I just want to see how much they're going to mutilate that kid. The kid in the yellow little George. He gets his arm ripped off in the book.
Goodness.
They'll
probably
that's all they find of him. They only ever find his arm.
I reckon it's scarier showing just the little bits.
Yeah.
So it's like they find the arm, they find these little things here and there, and then maybe you get like a little flash of like the body.
Yeah.
But finding the little bits and with the music and these days.
And it's only the first trailer. Maybe in the second trailer they'll show the adult. I would suspect if they're going to do adults in the second trailer, they'll have like a voiceover, like the main guy being like, we have to go back to
Derry. It would be interesting if they did. The second trailer was all adults, but then if you play the first and second trailer together,
that would be really great.
They kind of go.
They're not going to do that because they're dickheads.
Unless they listen to this.
Yeah. Huh. They're going to steal our ideas. All the game companies are going to steal our ideas.
That would be super interesting though if they did that. You play both trailers next side by side, and it's just like they're almost talking to each other.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Yeah.
Do that. Whoever's making it trailers.
Do it.
Or the movie. I guess you'd have to write that into the movie.
Yeah.
The thing I wanted to talk about trailers this week in general was like, there's so many fucking trailers.
Yeah.
Last couple of weeks has just been trailer heavy because we're getting into summer months.
Yeah.
And the thing about it for me is I'm like, do we really want to sit here every week?
Yeah.
And just talk about trailers until the movie comes out?
Well, it needs to be the ones that are really like, I mean, like there was a new Alien teaser that came out. I don't want to talk about it.
I didn't watch it.
It's too much.
Because the one thing is like we like the movies we like, and we don't want to ruin them by watching these damn trailers.
I only want to talk about stuff that kind of.
But I know other people are like they're out there watching, like, oh, what do you guys think of this and stuff? And I'm like, I don't know. I want it like.
Usually,
I think by now you should realize that trailer isn't the movie.
Yeah.
And you can have a bad trailer and get a good movie.
Yeah.
And you can have a good trailer and get a bad movie.
It depends on the movie, though. It's in like...
I just don't want to be this like week to week speculation kind of thing, you know?
Sure.
I don't know if that's the way you feel. We're hashing out our issues right now.
We're building the podcast here.
Yeah.
No, I just think for me, like it's such a massive film that I feel like we needed to talk about it. And also, I think we know when something is kind of making an impact online. You know, like people are talking about it. I don't want to talk about every trailer that's coming out. Like if Star Wars dropped, like we would talk about it. However, I don't want to talk about, say, like The Mummy came out.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, the trailers came out. So. There was, like, It, King Arthur, The Mummy, Transformers, and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And that's just a few of them.
But we don't have to talk about, you know, we just talk about, like, you could... I know you're a Spider-Man fan. I'm not a Spider... Maybe we hit on that. But at the same time...
Did you watch the new trailer?
No, I didn't. No, I'm trying to actually...
I would actually say avoid it.
We're talking about all this. I'm trying to watch less trailers.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know. Like, I don't know if we're going to be the kind of podcast to come to get your week to week, you know, mini bits of information.
I think we're just talking about whatever hits us.
Yeah, I know.
Whatever hits
like
us.
Like with Spider-Man, I'm like, I'm going to tell you, don't watch the trailer.
Yeah.
Gives away too much.
That's good.
And it's only the second one.
Whatever this week.
Maybe that's what we'll do. I'll watch one and you have to watch one.
Well, it's basically whatever hits you. You know, whatever you get. Whatever you get the feels for. Yeah. You know, so it's like I got the feels for this. So like we obviously got the feels for VR, and we like talking about VR. I love my gaming. Yeah. You love your films and stuff. So whatever gives you the feels, just talk about it.
Yeah,
so that's why I mentioned it. Yeah. I mentioned it because when I saw him in the drain pipe, I was like, yeah, that fucking got me.
I'm going to shit a brick in the cinema.
When I close my eyes, I sometimes see that.
I can't remember what was the last horror movie I saw in the cinema.
In the cinema?
Yeah. It's not one of those things that it like...
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah.
I know I saw one of the Final Destination 3Ds in there, but that's not horror.
I think I probably saw Final... Oh, what was the one with had the logs?
Oh, that's number 2.
Yeah, I saw that in the cinema.
There's some funny memes online where people are like taking a picture and there's a lorry of all the logs and no one is parked behind it and the guy just puts... All these people have seen Final Destination. yeah. Actually, there was also a little compilation of all the deaths from Final Destination put together.
Oh yeah,
some messed up deaths, but I think everyone remembers the first one, the plane. Yeah, checking the seat. I got a friend at work who checks his seat. He checks the when you can turn it and bring your table down. He checks it every time. If it comes out, he's like,
"Can I move?
I'm in trouble." Yeah, no, definitely. Whatever makes you have the feels.
Well, the biggest news this week that everyone else is talking about is the rumor that Joss Whedon is going to go and make Batgirl for DC.
I briefly read that. Yeah.
Everyone's going crazy saying it's going to happen. It's only a rumor so far.
I feel like it is going to happen.
Maybe it will happen. I think he's a fan of like comics. He likes strong women. That's the cliche with Joss Whedon.
Yeah. But who's he going to
the
role though?
The thing about it for me is
that's going to make or break it, to be honest. For a lot of people.
Well, my problem is that he got to make the Avengers, right?
Sure.
He did a great job. He wrote and directed, made $1 billion. Then he made Age of Ultron, made $1 billion. Wrote and directed it. But he said that film nearly broke him because of all the Marvel interference. And they were like, okay, we have to set up the Infinity War and you got to have this scene with Thor and we're going to have this scene and that scene. And he's like, oh, this is too much. I just want to make my movie.
Yeah.
And he said he was under too much pressure to make it the same success. And I'm looking at DC, and this isn't another chance to shit on DC. This is just a fact. DC will be around the same point in time when Batgirl comes out. They'll have Batman, Superman, Suicide Squad, Wonder Woman, Justice League, and then probably the Batman movie or the Flash and Aquaman movies. You might have somewhere between 5 to 7 movies out by then.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is a little bit further along than Marvel were when they had Avengers. But you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So he'll be coming in the middle of another universe. And I'm going to think, well, DC are going to say, can you make sure this fits in with this, and this?
Yeah. And I'm you never know, though. They might say, we're cutting ties with this and this. So
just do your own thing.
Have to. Yeah. I don't know.
It's just like with Batgirl, you're like, you can't have Batgirl and then not have Batman.
Yeah, no, of course not.
And we've already seen a Batman, and we've already seen a Joker, and we've seen a Harley Quinn.
Sure.
And there's rumors of doing Nightwing. And as much as I want to see a Nightwing movie and a Harley Quinn movie, the way the universe is currently going, I'm like, I don't know if I would want someone to go in there and try and make their movie. Zack Snyder's made a very narrow kind of way you can make a movie.
Sure.
So I don't see if Joss is going to go in there and be like, Yeah, I can make this work.
When would he be doing the film? So
like the rumor is like 2019 it'll come out.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not so much like he can't course correct, but I'm just like, is this the kind of thing he wants to do? Because as much as people might not like Ultron, like he just made $2 billion movies and took a big break.
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants.
But if he's saying he wants to do
if he's talking to them, yeah.
Well, maybe they've tried to sell it to him by saying like, we've learned from our mistakes, we're doing this, we're doing that.
They try to sell it to him by backing up a truck full of money.
And just maybe it's their way of saying like, we need to fix this, and like we're going to start with you.
Yeah.
Maybe because all their films right now are going about up to that mark, and maybe they've realized now, like maybe they're going to bloody reboot it.
Maybe going to reboot it. Justice League will reboot it. Flash will run back in time and fix everything.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's had those fan theories that this isn't the real universe. This is the Injustice universe.
Right.
Or Flash is going to go to a different universe and see the real Superman, the real Batman that we all know.
Sure.
Again, like I don't care what you do with them.
Bloody happen though.
I don't care. Yeah, I don't care if you change it. It's just you did a bad job of it. Like I don't care if Superman's dark and Batman's dark.
Sure.
Like just don't do a bad version of it.
Yeah.
It's just something I'm going to bring up with Legion later on. Like that show does it well.
Yeah.
But it's like if you want to put all these characters in there, you've really got to like this is the thing. DC just didn't set up what the hell they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon makes a very particular type of show. Firefly, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
That's not the world we've been given so far. You know what I mean? So as much as it's great to hear he might do it, I'm like, you're not fitting in here, Joss. You're not the kind of guy. You're the kind of guy I want to see make that movie.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong.
But it's going to be drastically different.
But
or how is he going to work with what they've already done?
Yeah.
So.
Like, could you imagine if they brought out a Batgirl movie by Joss Whedon that was kind of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer? It would be great, successful. But you'd be looking at that and then you'd look at Suicide Squad and go, how do these things two... Like, look at that Joker with the deranged on his head, and look at that Harley Quinn, and then look at this Batgirl, and you're like, what am I supposed to get here?
Yeah.
I would love it if DC just said, screw it. They're all different dimensions.
Yeah.
They're all in their own worlds. Do whatever the hell you want.
But you wouldn't, though. You wouldn't, because, like, it's just too mixed up, and you couldn't have them mixed together.
I think it would. I think they just got to keep on the track of Justice League is a universe. So they're all in their universe.
Yeah. A bit like X-Men are.
Yeah, exactly. And everybody outside of that, just do whatever the fuck you want.
They should really do that. I understand like them trying to merge it all together, but it just gets way too complicated. Because also Josh is basically going to say like, oh yeah, I want this to happen.
Not Josh.
Well, I'm going to call him Josh.
Fine, whatever.
Because Joshua's fine.
I'm just saying he has enough money to kill us, reanimate us, and kill us again.
Just launch the podcast with someone else. Same name.
Hi, I'm Alex.
But he's going to basically have these ideas, and then someone's going to say, you can't do that because of this. And he's like, I want to do
That's what I mean.
You can't do that because of this. And then it might come to a moment where, I mean, he must know that.
Like when he went in to do Avengers, for example. The script that they had, he hated it. He said, I'm rewriting this or I'm not doing the movie. Right. They said, okay, great. He didn't like the fact that the guy who wrote the original draft got to keep his name on it.
Oh, yeah.
But on the Age of Ultron, it was all him. Right. But on Age of Ultron, he had all the producers coming in saying, we need this character and we need that character and we need to introduce the Vision. And I was like, oh, crap.
Right.
So when he came in on Avengers, that was like basically movie 4 in that universe. He had 2 Iron Man movies. But that's kind of just the same character.
Yeah.
Captain America and Thor. And then that's it. So he could come in and do whatever the hell he wanted. But when he's coming in to do Batgirl, he's got so much junk to deal with. And I'm like, he's not going to want that. Like if he had enough problems with Ultron where he could literally write the script and do whatever he wanted with it.
Sure.
If he's going to have somebody like Zack Snyder or whatever standing over me like, no, I killed Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy's dead. You can't use him. Oh no, in this one the Joker killed Robin already. Robin's dead.
Yeah.
Oh no, Alfred, we've already cast him. So we've got an Alfred. Oh no, we've already got Jim Gordon. It's like he won't. I don't see him, the kind of creative guy that he is, wanting to try and fit into this world. Like the Marvel universe is very fixed in what it has to do, but it does it very well, and they have a plan. So everything that comes out makes sense in that plan. But with DC, you're kind of just like, let's just see what happens. But what happens is that every guy who comes on after the next guy is trying to fix all the shit he did wrong.
Yeah.
And you just can't do it.
It's a knock-on effect.
It's a knock-on effect. And it gets worse and worse because you go from Batman, Superman to Justice League. You're just like getting everybody out there. So you're going to have to, like, if you're the guy who got the Aquaman movie, I've gone off on a rant now. If you're the guy who got the Aquaman movie, Justin Lin, you have to deal with the fact that the very first time anybody ever saw Aquaman is on an email that Wonder Woman opened.
With a logo designed for him by Lex.
No matter what you do in that movie, and like they have that cool shot from the Justice League trailer where he's smashing the whiskey bottle.
Yeah,
he's standing on the thing. It's like, that's cool, but you were underwater in a shitty camera, waving around on your thing, and you flew off. Yeah. And the same with the Flash. The first time we ever saw Flash, it's a video camera. Like, it's just, you're always trying to fix the mistakes that have been made.
Yeah. And he's probably making the film thinking like, nope, this didn't happen.
We're going to have a brand new... but what I mean is, that was bad enough. Like, the very first time you see Aquaman's that shitty thing. Yeah. Most people will forget about it.
Yeah.
But Aquaman's going to be in Justice League, which means when he makes his Aquaman movie, they've already had him in a movie. So he's going to have to fix whatever the hell Zack Snyder does wrong in that movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Batgirl, Nightwing, the reason I think DC are bringing up these characters is because no one's seen them. No one's mentioned them. But even if they haven't, they still exist in Batman's world. Yeah. Which means they're going to have to deal with all the shit that Batman's had to go through. Like, how can you have a Batgirl, Nightwing movie? Batgirl and Nightwing movie would be great. But how could you have any one of those movies and have them have a rule where they don't kill? Because they were trained and brought up by Batman. Right. Who kills. So how can they have, like, any moral code? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just this knock-on effect of once you screw Batman up, you screw up everyone Batman trains.
But they might not care as much about that because obviously the studio isn't caring, like, not sticking to those rules. So
you're right. The studio doesn't care. That's it.
I'm serious though. Like, and they might just change it that way. You know?
Yeah, they might.
But the thing is, it might be the hardcore fans like yourself who are having a problem with it. But
I guess you're right.
But they're out for the money. They're out for the average Joes that are like, this is cool, you know what I mean? Yeah. But they should really answer the call to the fans.
Yeah, I guess those are really hardcore fan kind of things.
Like, no, but yeah, I mean,
you're right. You know, even on a film front though, if you're going down that front, it's like, is Batgirl going to make you money? Yeah. Like, if you're going to get a guy who just made the last two movies he made $1 billion. Yeah. You giving him Batgirl?
I think they're probably looking at projections of Wonder Woman and Woman Power and all that lot, and they're probably going, you know.
Yeah, Joss Whedon's got a good characters of making
they've done that females. As well. They haven't rebooted Batwoman for a while.
Catwoman, yeah.
They haven't had something like that for a while.
Yeah, I know, like, they're aiming for as many markets as they can because there's rumors they're going to make a Harley Quinn movie. But then they're going to put, like, Poison Ivy in it with her, so it's going to be like the Bad Girls and all this. And Catwoman as well. Sorry. Yeah. Like, I can get it on the one hand. Like, it's great to have that, but you also just look at it and it's so cynical. You're just like, you're just trying to get girls in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And that's why I was saying, like, it's probably is a market for it because they haven't done it for a while, and like, people want to see after. Well, I guess Wonder Woman will tell them a few things with sales and things, and
that's sure that's getting there.
I think it will do 2 months away. I think it will do well. I just don't think it will do well with the fans. You know? Yeah, like with the comic.
I've already voiced my worries. It's not even comic complaints anymore. I'm just like, what?
Are you actually going to go see that one at the cinema?
Yeah, we have to go see it. We'll review it on the podcast. Yeah. That's what we do. That's our job now.
But what about this?
At least if we both see it, we wanted to do a shitty half-assed Beauty and the Beast review.
Well, tell me about your Legion.
Yeah, Legion was... I heard.
What is Legion?
Yeah. Do you want to go? Yeah. Do you want a spoiler review, or you actually want to watch this?
I don't mind. No. You can go ahead and do
Legion.
What you want, so.
How to start this? Back in the day, Legion was a comic book character.
Right.
He's in the X-Men universe.
Okay.
I have to spoil this. Like, I can't not spoil it. So anybody listening to this, I'm going to spoil it. But I'll give you a non-spoiler review on that. It's brilliant. It's the most original comic book show I've ever seen.
Right.
It's mostly like a horror.
Okay.
Rather, they're like,
is it on Netflix or something? Or?
It's Fox. Fox have it.
Okay.
Yeah, because Fox own X-Men movies.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So to give you a quick breakdown of it, it's about a guy named David.
Yeah.
David Haller, who's in a mental home. Okay. And David has heard voices all his life, and he's got split personality, he's got schizophrenia, and hears people, he's heard these things, and now he's slowly getting better. But then this girl comes into the psychiatric ward with her, and he gets very close with her. And what she does is she tells him that he's not crazy. What he is he's a mutant who's had powers all his life. He just never knew how to control them. Okay. So that's like the rough idea. And the story, it's only 8 episodes. It's not like a big long thing. It's 8 episodes.
And it's new.
Yeah. Okay. The first episode's an hour and a half special long one. Oh, I haven't heard of it. It's really good in that it looks great. It's all about like mental state. So like it's got these weird camera moves. It's got these weird shots that they do. Like they turn the camera upside down. They'll have somebody walk in a room. Then they turn around. They're in the same room. That kind of thing. And it's also about what's in his head. Like, is there something in there that's like messing him up? Yeah. He's obviously got something that's traumatized him as a kid, and like he's being haunted by something, and you're trying to figure out what that is. Sure. So like it's got a horror element, it's got psychology elements. There's not a lot of action, there's not a lot of big fight scenes like a Daredevil thing. And it's 8 episodes, so you kind of really have to pay attention. There's no episodes that you can skip. Right. And it's also like another great thing, like I don't know if anybody can hear that. It sounds like we've got a giant rattlesnake in the building.
Either that or a fucking drone.
Like I can't go on about how great it is in the sense of like aesthetically how it looks. Yeah. Like, you know the way every show starts with, here's the start, here's the credits. Yeah. Like this thing it'll start any way it wants, and it'll put the title in wherever it wants. Okay. Everything just kind of is fluid. It kind of represents his brain. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, if you want to watch it, I'd say definitely watch it. If you don't like it after the first episode, stop watching. Okay. Because you've watched like an hour and a half there. Sure. But yeah, the first episode, if you like that, the rest of it's great. Yeah, yeah. So now into spoilers for it. Nice. All right. I'm talking. Getting knock on the door, mate.
That guy doesn't want any spoilers.
Shh, no spoilers. Going into the spoilers. Yeah. David Haller is the son of Professor X.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. In the comic books, he does have multiple personalities. Right. But it's not a mental condition. What happens is if someone dies near him, he actually absorbs that personality. Sure. But he didn't know he was ever doing this, so he just grew up with mental problems, as everyone else saw it. Right. But his multiple personalities some of them are just made up. Okay. But some of them are actually real people. Right. But where his powers are like God level. He's like one of the most powerful of all time. Right. But the reason he can't do it is because of all his multiple personalities, they all control a different power. Right. So one of them's like a little girl. One of them's like a big guy, like a violent guy. And like one of them will control fire. Right. One of them is a telepath. One of them's telekinetic. Right. But like his powers go up and up and up and up because he can start absorbing anybody's powers. He can take anything on. And it gets to the point that in one of the issues, his brain heals itself and he's one thing and he can control everything he wants to do. And at that point, he can travel through time. Right. He can mold reality. Right. He can change anything. Like that's how godlike he is. Yeah. But the only reason he doesn't get to that point is because of his split personalities. And that's why he's called Legion, because there's so many in there. There's like 20 or 30 people in him. The TV show isn't exactly like the comic, but it's the same general thing of like he grew up with powers that he didn't know. Like mutants in this, it's the X-Men universe. Yeah. A spoiler there. Yeah. But he doesn't know he's Professor X's son. They don't mention the X-Men or Magneto. Interesting. But Professor X, they do give glimpses of him and hints of him, and they mention other characters that are X-Men.
That's cool. I like that they're not like benchmarking themselves or like using that to boost the show.
So like if you're a fan of the comic, it's got enough great little things in there pointing to the bigger universe. It's like, it's cool. Yeah. But the other great thing is that it just, like I said with earlier, they just took the idea and they changed it. Like you can change Superman and Batman, I don't care. Sure. They took this and they put it in and they said, this is how it's going to work. Yeah. And they made a horror movie kind of feel to it. And then they made it look like that because that's the way it is in his head. Like, this is great. This is the way you should take it. You just take the general idea and then do what you can because you've only got a TV budget. But as it goes on, the TV show goes on, he breaks out of the mental home. He gets accepted by this group of mutants who are also on the run. Sure. And they're trying to figure out what his powers are. But as they learn, like episode to episode, he's just incredibly powerful. He can teleport, he can read minds, and he's getting stronger and stronger. Interesting. The only issue with it was the last episode, because I think at some point, like maybe around episode 6 or 7, they got the signal that they're going to get a second season. Yeah. So episode 8 kind of just
goes slow or something.
No, episode 8 it just kind of ends with this thing of like to be continued or like more to come, and nothing gets solved.
Yeah,
kind of like
no. Yeah. Was there like a bad guy in it?
Like that's the thing. If I'm gonna spoil it for you, it does. Like this thing, like for a comic fan, it just hits the comic really well.
Yeah.
There's this creature called the Shadow King, who's a mutant parasite who finds psychic mutants and he latches onto them. And he just sucks all their power till he gets stronger or they die, and then he moves on. Yeah. So 30 years ago or whatever, he fought Professor X. And in the comics, he's the guy who crippled Professor X back in the day.
Right.
Professor X destroyed him when he was younger and didn't know his power so well, but he beat the Shadow King. Shadow King, and in that fight, he ended up getting his legs broken. Right. His legs get broken all the time. There's like 5 different versions of his legs getting broken. Juggernaut broke them, or Magneto broke them, whatever. Yeah. He's always getting his bloody legs broke, that chap. Anyway, the accident that happened that got him injured like that introduced him to the woman that he would have the baby with. Right. So as far as I remember in the comics I read, he never knew he had that kid. Okay. Like they had a little relationship, and then he left and went back to America. Never knew there was a little baby David Holler. Yeah. So the way the TV show handles it is that at some point Professor X gives the kid away because he realizes the Shadow King wasn't killed. He's now like kind of got no body. Right. And he's hooked onto David. But he hooked onto David as a baby. So the show hasn't said whether or not Professor X knows that. Or if he's just trying to protect the kid. Right. So the kid's given away to an adoptive family. He never knows that he's adopted, and he grows up and he has a sister and all this. So that's all the show. And as the series goes on, this demon thing, you realize it's been there the whole time, screwing around with David, trying to get his power because he's so powerful. Right. And then around episode 7 or 8, they start to break it down. David starts to control himself, and you realize, I can get this thing. I can hold it. Yeah. And then episode 8 is they get him out of the body. Yeah. But he gets into someone else's body and he drives off. Huh. He literally drives off. That's the end of the episode. I'm like, man, it's just not satisfying. Yeah. So is that season finale, or is that like mid? Yeah, season finale. Like it's only 8 episodes for the whole season. So it was easy to breeze through for the weekend. Yeah. But the guy Dan Stevens, who plays the Beast, he plays Legion. He plays David. Nice. Oh, okay. And he's great in it. Oh, brilliant. He even gets used. He uses an American accent. So. But you said it's a horror? It's a horror because this creature, the Shadow King, what the group are trying to do are trying to figure out what happened to David. Yeah. Because remember I said he's not crazy. He just has, he has things in his head. Yeah. That's what they're telling him. They're saying, you're not crazy, David. You're a telepath. So when he breaks out, he thinks he's great. But then they go into his memories, and then they start to realize there is something wrong with him, which is the Shadow King. They don't know that. Yeah. So it's not just that he's, got powers and that messed him up. Sure. There's actually something in his head. He's actually got a split personality. Sure. So as they're going through his memories and trying to get him to do these things, this thing is in his brain, in his memories, destroying him. And you start to learn all of his life, he was seeing things that weren't there. He was talking to things that weren't there. Yeah. And technically he's not crazy, but he is crazy because to everybody on the outside, he's talking about people that aren't there. Yeah. But it's the Shadow King. So you get this weird thing of like, what's real? Do they call him the Shadow King? Yeah, like episode 7 when they reveal him, they call him the Shadow King. His real name's Farouk Abdul or something. Right. But he's the Shadow King now because he has no body anymore. Yeah. It's really cool because like we're talking with it and the timeline, you don't know when this is set. Okay. You don't know what the time is. Because like the X-Men movies are all shit for time anyway. All over. They're all over the place. This never mentions any of the movies or anything, so you don't know when it is. Yeah, it shouldn't do. Yeah, the sister kind of looks like she's dressed in 60s clothes. Right. When he gets out, it kind of looks like now. Cars kind of look like from the 50s. Okay. One of the guys has a gun from the 30s. And what you start to realize is that you can't believe anything David's saying. Yeah. You can't believe anything he's doing. Yeah. But then when you throw in the comic book fact that he can change the world, he can literally change anything in the world. Like he can change the walls into spaghetti. He can change cats into monsters. So it makes sense. Like everything could just be changing because you can't criticize the show for not being, like, oh, the guy was wearing jeans or this. Yeah. This. But I think that's part of it. Like, it never. Like, it's also clever because then you're not going to date the show. Yeah. Like, it looks like 2016. You could be a bit more unique and random that way. Yeah. By having like a 50s gun or whatever, and then like a world today kind of thing. Yeah. Like there's a cool scene where he's in an MRI thing. So that's obviously now. Yeah. The MRI is connected to like the science guy, and the science guy's in the other room behind the glass. Yeah. But he doesn't have a laptop and screens. What he has is like this cobbled together, like old big chunky TV, And instead of like a keyboard, he's got a typewriter
Nice.
that he's hooked up for it. And then he's like got a screen that has like the readouts and stuff. So
Yeah.
you've got like this mixture of like, oh, maybe it's just because they're on the run and they don't have any they don't have any money, so they can't do it.
Yeah.
So you never know where it's at. But for me, I'm always looking at it being like, this could all be in his head.
Yeah.
Or it could all be the fact that his powers can do this. He can just make it whatever he wants. Like if he thought that wall is blue, then that wall's blue.
Yeah, totally.
And everybody else in the world, he changes everything. He changes the whole world for everyone to see the wall is blue.
Did you know the series was coming out, or is it just like kind of...
I'd heard the series was coming out and I wasn't excited.
Oh, yeah.
Because A, Fox.
So,
B,
maybe not the budget.
Fucking Fox.
Yeah.
And then C, it was just like Legion doesn't make sense as a character.
Right.
Like he's more like nobody knows who he is. He's like a very important point in time for the comics. But in terms of like nobody in their right, he's not even Doctor Strange obscure. He's just out of nowhere. Like Professor X's kid. Like no one knows he has a kid.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, he's a mental case who can like do all these weird powers.
Oh, that's cool.
I think that was the other thing of like his power levels are so big. How are you going to make a TV show about that?
Sure.
I think you should just watch the first episode.
Yeah. No, it sounds awesome. Like I the horror element of it sounds the most interesting out of it, because I can see it being like a Marvel like Iron Fist or whatever.
Yeah,
kind of thing
exactly.
like that,
and it's not that at all.
But
it
really, sounds very different.
And I'm really impressed
like
that they went that route and they just said, yeah, you can do what you want with this.
Yeah.
And I think that was the thing, like, because it's Legion, because it's a nobody, there's like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
You want to have him in a mental home for like an hour? Yeah, sure. Do what you want.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, this is great. We'll give him a second season. So I'm looking forward to the second season. Do you know Jermaine Clement from Flight of the Conchords?
Yeah.
He's in it.
Oh, is he?
He's great.
Huh?
Yeah, he's just this.
Who does he play?
He's a mutant as well.
Okay.
And what's happened is it's one of those things, actually, I won't even tell you, but in the episode where he's introduced, I think it was like episode 4 or something.
Sure.
Like even I had no idea what's going on. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing.
Like
it's
usually the best times.
Like the show starts with him doing something and you're just like, what's going on here?
Sure.
And then it's only like near the end of the episode you kind of figure out what's happened and where he's at. And then you're like, oh, okay. But the show, I just love the fact that it starts. Yeah, that's the thing for me that got me. It just starts every episode. Yeah, and it doesn't know those things like previously on. Yeah. It does it in its own little way sometimes, but generally it's just like we're going into it. Yeah, and we might have the credit right now, or we might have the credit later. Sure. So if you're watching it, all you know is it has Legion, and then the O has the X-Men symbol in it. Nice, I like it. Yeah, but there's a lot of hints that the next season they might put in an actual X-Men reference or something. Yeah. Or not a reference, a character. Well, it's a good way of like kind of getting more people. I don't know if they'll get Patrick Stewart back, but they might get a younger guy to play Professor X. Sure. Yeah. I wonder if they'll get what's his face, the younger version of Professor X. You know? Oh, get a McAvoy. Yeah. That'd be hilarious. That'd be a great cameo for him to do. He'd do it. So he could shave his head again. That sounds super interesting though. Like it is really great. Only 8 episodes. I like the sound of that because I can't do 24, 25 episodes anymore. So, oh god, no. Even with the Netflix, the 13, you're like, yeah. Because I haven't gone back to. I was gonna finish Iron Fist. Yeah, I was gonna finish the back half of Iron Fist. And I said I'm gonna give this Legion a go. So Legion I'm gonna give one go. Leaps and bounds above Iron Fist. It's everything you want out of a comic book. And what about production value from an Iron Fist to Legion? Not that matters. No, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't say there's that much of a difference. Okay, that's good. Actually no. Like I'm thinking of Iron Fist has got. How to put this? Iron Fist got a bigger budget. Sure, but Legion uses what it has better. Okay. Yeah. And it's got a style to it. I think there's only so much like if I showed you a shot from Iron Fist and Daredevil, you probably couldn't tell them apart. They're the same show. It's like a soap opera now. I know what you mean. And like it's fine. Like they're doing a good enough job. Legion's got like a little Legion, you're just watching me like this is the only way. Yeah. Or not this is the only show that looks like this. Yeah. And it needs that's what you want. What it needs. Yeah, because it needs to stand out from the crowd. Yeah. Exactly that. So. And that's the big thing. And Dan Stevens, he's got a great role. Everyone is pretty solidly characterized. Nice. Yeah, I don't think there's anything super bad about it. Like even the final episode, it's not bad. It's just the rest of them were so great. Yeah. So like, I'll put it on the list. Yeah, should definitely check it out. That was a good not as good as my Beauty and the Beast. It wasn't a Beauty and the Beast level review, no. Not bad at all. Game of Thrones, teaser. Are they back? Oh, teaser? Yeah, the teaser came out. We said we're not watching trailers. Well, it was a teaser. Teaser. Oh wait, I want to give a quick comic nerd thing. I realized that David Holler in the comics is probably the most important character for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Because I traced it back, right? This is big comic info dump for you. You won't know it. Remember I said he got all his powers together. He got his shit together. He said, right, I'm not being a psycho anymore. I'm in control. When he did that, he traveled back in time to try and kill Magneto.
Right.
Because he wanted his father's dream to come true. Because he never knew Professor X really. They never got the bond. And he just said, the one thing I can do is I can give him his dream of peaceful unity. And the best way I can do that is if I kill Magneto.
Yeah.
So when he goes back in time to try and do that, he destroys the universe.
Right.
Because what happens is he lets the world know there's mutants like 20 or 30 years before there should have, like before it happened in the real world.
Sure.
So you know Apocalypse? Not the shitty movie one, but the shitty movie one. But like he wakes up and realizes mutants have come back.
Right.
He takes over the world.
Yeah.
That creates the Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
From the Age of Apocalypse, the Marvel Comics then go into the Onslaught saga, where Professor X goes crazy.
Yeah.
And he kills all the superheroes.
Right.
And then from that, all the superheroes come back, and then that leads into Civil War and all that stuff. So everything traces back to David Holler creating the thing.
Bloody hell.
I was only the other day, just on Sunday when I was watching all the episodes, I'm like, he's a pretty important character. They probably should bring him back a bit more.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh wait, no, you can't bring back gods because they just do whatever they want.
I know. It's hard to write a show about God.